Friends, let's go ahead and settle in, and I'll invite the chime to sing again so we can fully arrive to our practice. For tonight's practice, I'd like to invite you to put the body in a posture that feels at ease. It's the end of the day. It is time to relax and rest. It's time to put down the worry and the wonder. It's time to receive. Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma, and my name is Julia, and I am so happy to be here. It's just so lovely to practice with everybody. Today, before we begin, I often like to set the intention of our meeting today. Where's my camera? There it is. And I'm sharing with you a little painting that I did, and on the back I write a sentiment of metta. This one reads, "May your innocence be restored. May your innocence be restored." All right. Thank you for bringing yourselves here. Thank you for smiling and settling in. I want to thank everyone who was able to come to our Friday practice, even though it started 20, almost 30 minutes late, because it's all my fault. I forgot the password. I was on a different computer, so I kept typing in different passwords, and before I know it, I got locked out. And when the boss is locked out, everybody's locked out. So thank God we have a goddess in our midst who is all techie, and she figured out a way to wiggle us in and open the meeting. And we, there were a couple of people that emailed me, "Oh my God, are we going to have the meeting?" It was kind of stressful, and there it is. There's the practice right there. It was perfect. I loved it. So it was all up in the air. Is this going to happen? What's happening? Oh my God, we don't know. Am I going to be okay? Of course I'm okay. It's not brain surgery. It's a Recovery Dharma meeting. So we invite it to be perfect. As messy and upended as it is, as unsettled and agitated as it is, invite it to be perfect exactly as it is. And let's bring that into our practice this evening as we look deeply. For the month of March, that's what we've been doing, looking deeply. Vipassana practice. And it begins at the level of the breath. Simply bringing your attention in a very gentle way to your breathing right now. How are you breathing today? Just notice. Let your breathing be natural. Notice if you're carrying any tension from the day, any barnyard drivers that you had to contend with. Insensitivity, standing in the grocery store line. Aggression with a coworker. Maybe you have someone in your life who's sort of the human form of Eeyore, and that gets you all uptight and stressed. Recognizing all of it and where you carry that, and maybe seeing if you can move your body a little bit to shake off some of that stress and settle in. Don't worry that your mind is wandering or even racing. Easier said than done. We place a lot of expectation on ourselves to get it right. I'd like to encourage all of us to invite to this banquet of meditation everything that we get wrong. My meditations never look like how they're supposed to look on the Buddha Dharma magazines, sitting so noble underneath a perfectly flowering plum tree with the most gentle breeze, with the perfect surroundings and the perfect robes and the perfect everything. Oh, please. So I work with what I have. My legs fall asleep, my stomach rumbles. I have some inner critic that's wanting to pipe up about some grievance. And then I let that all be, and I just keep coming back to my breath over and over and over and over again. And as you do in your practice this evening, see if you can allow the body and the breath to slow down and deepen. And when you can, see if you can make a little space in the heart and in the mind to congratulate yourself. Way to go. I'm amazing. Would you look at this? I'm meditating. Who knew? How awesome. And then see what comes up. See what starts to arise and surface in some kind of clarity. It could be anything. So allow yourself the space and the freedom for your mind and your experience to wander and be really open. That's what clarity is all about. Don't judge it, just let it be there. Encourage yourself. Wow, look at that. And let's say today has been a bit challenging. It's Monday. Maybe you had a rough weekend. Maybe you've been contending with some disappointment or craving. One of the words we've been exploring in our Vipassana practice is dolor, pain, anguish in the mind and body. That's part of this human experience, and so allow yourself the space to lean in and maybe even lean in a little bit. Just lean in. One of the things that I'm reflecting on today, a little bit of discomfort, is yesterday I received some advice from somebody I respect and care about. And surprisingly, for whatever reason, the advice this wonderful, loving person was offering me so freely annoyed me to my bones. And I was bugged all night long. Look at that. Wonder what that's all about. And then for our Vipassana practice, we've also been considering the value and the importance of rest as one of the options for our recovery. It's another aspect to this practice. And today, what I'd like to bring forward is an element on our Noble Eightfold Path, wise action. Friends, one of the things about a deep-looking practice is to examine ourselves, our habits. And one of the habits I observe over and over and over again is the way we treat ourselves when we begin to examine our unwise actions. I observe very often that people will pick up their unwise action as something to examine, but it becomes a hammer with which they pound themselves over and over, pounding and pounding. I did this and then I did that and I'm ugh and blah blah. Very painful, very aggressive, violent. And the saddest part about it is it isn't motivating. It's of very little benefit. And so even when we're looking at our unwise actions, we're not being very wise in the process. So to bring forward a wise action is to look at our actions in our past. Maybe just an hour ago we got into it with someone and it wasn't very skillful. Maybe we can look at that with more skill, with more wisdom. And the best place to start is with just a little bit of curiosity. Would you look at that? I wonder what that was all about. I wonder if I can be a little bit more gentle toward myself. I was really suffering. No wonder I acted that way. I was really suffering. What can I learn and how can I do it differently? You may be entertaining a story that coming to a recovery meeting is something you have to do. Maybe you're court ordered to be here. Maybe it's part of your intensive outpatient program. Maybe you had a craving. Maybe you don't have much else going on in your life, or so you think. But if you can just entertain for a moment that coming to a recovery Dharma meeting is coming into the presence of ancient wisdom, an ancient practice of loving kindness, limitless compassion, infinite joy, and the quality of equanimity so profound It liberates the most hardened heart. The wisdom that you have engaged to be here, to take the action and to have the effort to be here today, brings wisdom to us all. What an act of grace. What an expression of courage. What a gift of healing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your wise action. It means so much. You mean so much. Bring your attention gently back to the body, and let's just enjoy another minute or two of just deep breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's go ahead and let's use this. I've been using this book all month and I really love it. It's called Moments of Mindfulness. This is by Thich Nhat Hanh. And it is, it's just a wonderful, wonderful practice. And I love what Peter said too as well this evening, that if you're suffering in your meditation, maybe have another look. It really harkens to when you often hear me say, enjoy your practice. This really ought to be a pleasant experience. Even if we're looking at things that are uncomfortable and difficult, we can do hard things. We're really strong and tenacious and resilient. So may your practice be an opportunity for you to actually entertain some joy and some delight. So these moments of mindfulness are really profound, and I just tend to flip the book and find whichever one opens up. And this is one of Thich Nhat Hanh's most famous perspectives. And let's bring our bodies back into awareness and into some attention, and maybe even close your eyes. A flower does not have to do anything to be of service. It only has to be a flower. That is enough. A human being, a true human being, is enough to make the whole world rejoice. Maybe this evening before bedtime and before you pop on a recording and say night night, listening to my voice, you can look in the mirror and just smile at yourself, recognizing I am a whole human being. May I rejoice in how enough that is. Thank you for your beautiful practice, friends. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful evening. Namaste.